Cubs are hoping to add maybe one more piece to the bullpen. Could it be former Cub David Robertson? Could he come back after bringing the Cubs Ben Brown in that trade to the Padres? Cubs sign a former Cubs minor leaguer, a guy that had such a promising career in Yency Almonte, and more, including a Little League home run by Pete Crow Armstrong. We'll talk about that. 16-1 Cubs win over the Padres. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Great to see you guys today. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Appreciate it. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. And it is such a pleasure to have you guys hang out with us again like you do on a daily basis. And we're getting one step closer to the start of the baseball regular season. And you see a 16-1 win and a 9-2 start for these Cubs as they try to get ready to take on the Dodgers in Tokyo, Japan. And you're feeling good. And I would too, because I do feel good. I really do. About the way that things are going. Look, I know there's spring training wins, but I mean, take them. You know, if they're going to give you a win, take a win. I love the way that the bench is played, the guys that are trying to make the team. And it's a lot of fun when you talk about baseball and, kind of building some momentum to get those two games going in March. And then obviously the start of what I would really consider the regular season at the end of the month in Arizona. All right, so one guy that is still out there and, possibly on the Cubs radar, and I mean, I don't know what you could get him for at this point, but, at the same time, I mean, he could be a difference maker in that bullpen, is David Robertson. He was with the Cubs, traded him to the Padres, got Ben Brown back. I mean, he's been a journeyman for sure in Major League Baseball. But you know what? I mean, the guy's been consistently good. And even at 39 years old, he can still get outs and he's unsigned. Would the Cubs be interested? The Cubs and the Tigers both connected to Robertson, according to article I read on one of my favorite sites. And that is, obviously the Cubs on Sports Illustrated. I read their stuff every day. So, I mean, maybe they said, hey, man, I mean, maybe he's still kind of someone that they're thinking about. Last year he was good. This year, Fangraphs has him projected to have a 3 ERA and, a strikeout rate of 12 plus per 9 innings. I mean, so they still think he's got juice in the tank. And I'm all about that, man. I mean, I think that's fantastic. So a guy that I've been following since his college career, was fantastic in 2022, 40 in the third innings, had an ERA of 2.23, 51 strikeouts and 14 saves. And then the Cubs went on and pitched him to the Phillies and they got Ben Brown back, right? So what's it going to take to sign him? It's interesting. A $7 million offer was declined by him for the Rangers. So, I mean, I guess it was a mutual option. So, who knows how that's going to turn out. But, the Cubs still have room under the salary cap. And, I guess the question is this a guy that you feel like can help you? I don't know if he's going to be the closer, which he's done that in the past. But I'll tell you what, he is definitely a resource when it comes to back end outs. And if I'm the Cubs front office and I'm trying to save my job, I'm feeling like, hey, if I can get him for the right price, maybe he can help us get some outs, and he'd be somebody that we'd feel pretty interested in. Now, the Cubs did go and bring back one of their former players, Yency Almonte, shoulder surgery last year, missed most of the season, but the Cubs signing him on a minor league deal, 17 games last year, had a 4.44 ERA. He's someone that is 30 years old. He's a right-hander, and pitched 15 2/3 innings last year for the Cubs. Came over in the Michael Busch trade, and we saw him. I mean, he can be pretty good. I mean, he's got to be healthy, right? And I guess that's kind of where you are with him. But when he is healthy and he's got to build that shoulder back. And there were times in baseball where you'd be like, you know what, guy's shoulders messed up. I'm not going to mess with it. This day and age, with the way that technology is, and you can get guys healthy again. You can build someone back up from the shoulder. And, Almonte's going to have that opportunity. And there's been some guys that the Cubs have, given flyers to. Hey, if you can make the team and you can prove that you can still pitch. Chris Flexen's one of those guys, right? He's on a minor league deal. But you know what? Anything can happen. I mean, 162 games, couple injuries happen. And then all of a sudden, you're plugging in a guy that you really weren't expecting. And then you take care of business there. And all of a sudden, you're a regular on a team that we feel like is going to contend for a championship. So, we'll see. But I don't know that you can ever have enough pitching. And I think you guys get in the comment section. You tell me that all the time. Can't have enough pitching. I agree. You can't have enough pitching. So go out there. If you can get these guys, the Chris Flexens, the Yency Almontes, one of these guys gets hot. One of these guys figures it out. And all of a sudden, you got a pitcher that's making a big difference in your organization, getting big outs, and it really does make a difference. So, I thought that was a good one. Now, the Cubs beat the Padres 16-1, and these spring training games, they don't count, right? But anytime you pound out 16 runs on 18 hits, you got to be pretty happy with that, And for me, I loved the Pete Crow Armstrong. It's not an inside the park home run, but it was, hey, I get a double, you throw it in the center field, and I'm going to score. Guy's hitting 471 so far this spring. Another guy that I feel like we kind of talked about him yesterday is Workman. Workman, you got to pay attention to him. Cubs have to play Gage Workman, big guy, obviously having a pretty good spring. He's hitting 360, a couple of home runs and 9 RBIs. He's a Rule 5 player, so he's got to make the team, or the Cubs are going to have to send him back. I really feel like they want this guy to make the team. And then all of a sudden, that gives them some depth in that third base spot between him and, and Matt Shaw. And he's an insurance policy if Matt Shaw comes back and he's not able to get the job done. So I think that this is an important guy on this team, Gage Workman. And I really feel confident that he's going to be on the roster when the Cubs go to Japan. He's got to keep convincing the front office and the coaching staff that he can be a contributor. And if he does, he's going to be on the team. And we talked about it on yesterday's video. But another really good game for Workman. When I see him play third base, I don't get that Christopher Morel feel. I felt like we were making excuses up for Christopher Morel last year. I'm listening to, one of the analysts on Marquee, and she's like, oh, he just needs confidence. And I'm watching, I'm going, no, he doesn't. He doesn't need confidence. He needs to learn how to set his feet. He needs to learn with the angle that you throw the ball to first base. Like, it's not confidence. It's that his technique stinks. There's nothing good about it. And obviously the Cubs saw it the same way, and they traded him. And look, I love Christopher Morel. I really do. He's a great guy, but don't make excuses up for him. The bottom line is that Gage Workman, I see him play third, and I really get the vibe that this guy can potentially play this position. And it's a lot more than, saying, hey, the guy needs confidence. So no, he doesn't. He's fine on the confidence. His technique's actually pretty good, and he can swing the bat. It's just a matter of roster availability. Is there enough roster space for him? And he's got to make them convinced that he's worth that roster spot, because he's got to have one of the 26 places where they got to send him back to the Tigers. Anyway, look, guys, thanks for hanging out here on the Cubs Baseball channel. We talk Cubs baseball every day. I love you. I do, because you guys have made this show part of your everyday viewing, and I can't thank you enough. And we're going to keep doing it. We'll be back tomorrow, but thank you again. Go Cubs. 9-2 spring training. Does it matter? No, but I love it. Look, it would be much better than being 2-9. I don't care what game you're playing. You put that C on your uniform. Let's go out and win the game. Thank you, guys. Like, subscribe, get in the comments, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Go Cubs.